Well, hello internets. Good morning. Here we are. We have ourselves a start to another day. Probably going to be a bit of a quieter one today after yesterday's adventure. And yeah, welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. Well, of course, yesterday's big adventure went down and hardware stores, stuff like that. Got some walking in, which is like pretty good walking when you consider. Got some walking in, which is pretty good walking. Anytime you can do some walking is always good. However, you know, dealing with other things interfere with my walking ability or long-term sustainability, so have to start back into things slow and work my way up to walk in the park again. Hopefully we can get things squared away because, well, I would love to be back on my bike like I was riding and being able to do some of those things that I used to do, you know, that have been took away from me. I remember my old rides that I used to do when I was younger and haven't been able to do them in quite a few years, as well as even last season not going out on my can runs at night because, well, it was getting to be too much. I know. You know, you could start trying to work around that by buying a little motorized 50cc bike or something like that, but then you're not dealing with the issue. You're just masking the problem until it gets worse to the point where you can't even ride a 50cc or whatever, you know, motorcycle, right? Reason why I say 50cc is around here is I think it's 49cc and under is not really considered to be a motorcycle, and you don't really need a license, like a motorcycle license for that. So that's why I say that. And plus, you know, some of the places I go don't like motorized vehicles, so that would be a problem as well. Where a bicycle, you could sneak down a path or around and in, and nobody's really, you know, none the wiser, or do they get their, you know, bonnet in a knot if you happen to, right? Well, pretty early today, a little bit of a cool morning. However, that's supposed to change for the next couple of days. The weather is starting to warm up slowly, but well, we'll take every degree that we can, right? But pretty much, guys, of course, gonna go in, enjoy my coffee, fire up the old computer, get going and a-rolling, and we'll catch you all then. Well, hello internets. Here we are. We have ourselves an end to another day. A little bit of a quieter day in terms of activity or doing any outings or anything big, but having a quieter day is also good to have once in a while as well. Well, of course, with the warm weather coming, there is an increase in foot traffic, and there already has been reports of people going yard to yard at night, snooping in people's vehicles, digging in people's garages and sheds and stuff. And you know, what's a person to do, right? Here in Canada, the laws seem to protect the criminals and seem to punish the victims, or, you know, the property owners, right? If I were to catch somebody in my yard and I ran out there and the person fell, tripped, and hit their head on, you know, an item in my yard, they could sue me because my yard was unsafe for them to trespass in my yard and try to steal my barbecue. Now, if I catch the same guy in my house, there's a little bit of a gray area there. However, it's essentially the same rule. If I catch him in my house and there's a struggle, whether he is doing something to one of my family members or stealing, my 1986 VCR or something, and there's a struggle and somebody gets a hole put in him, there also can be charges laid against me as well. Unfortunately, that seems to be the way it goes, where us as property owners don't seem to have rights to protect ourselves anymore, and the criminals are protected. I know myself what I would do if I found somebody in my house, in my garage, in my shed, trying to steal my truck. There's no way that I would be calling the police and watching them hurt one of my family members. I most definitely know where I stand there. As for my vehicle, well, it is insured. It is well insured, and well, they steal it, but at the same time, if I can stop them, I'm most definitely going to be out there. Police in this town, and probably other towns, have their hands full taking care of other things, as well as they seem to be too busy to deal with some of these smaller domestic crimes, and their response rates are low or slow to get here, and the criminals know that. They know the times, they know how long it takes, and they know how long they have in your yard, in your house, in the neighborhood, and on nights where it's busy in the area, you can see these guys going up and down the back alleys and through yards. There's been several times in the past I've caught them in my yard, walking through or running through my yard, and okay, fine, maybe I haven't made it hard on them in terms of cutting through my yard, it's putting up fences and stuff, but at the same time, they're going to hop your fence regardless of whether it's 6 feet high or 10 feet high, right? And if you make it hard for them, it'll deter them a little. However, at the same time, they're going to get through regardless. I don't know why or when the laws seem to change where we as homeowners are punished and them as criminals are protected. I don't know who changed them or how they were changed or when they were changed, but at the same time they need to change back, because there has been recent court cases here where people have been caught on other people's acreages stealing their quads or stealing their trucks, and somebody fires a shot and the bullet happens to find a target, and then there's huge trouble. In my opinion, if you're on the property trying to steal the tractor or trying to steal the farm truck or butchering an animal or something, and the farmer catches you, well, in my opinion, you're fair game, because obviously you shouldn't be there to begin with, and obviously you shouldn't be committing a crime, and people as property owners have a right to defend their property and themselves and their family. However, the legal system goes through a whole loophole rigmarole, lawyers and everything, and families are turned upside down, and it's like, when did criminals become protected? And that seems to be the way it goes with our system. They get off on lesser sentences or time served or out on bail, and they're free to commit more crime while they're waiting for the trial, the first trial. And it's like, repeat offenders, they maybe need to be dealt with differently. Don't even get me started on personal crimes like crimes with children or crimes with young adults or so. Those perpetrators should be dealt with a whole different way than somebody who tries to steal a car or breaks into a house. There was a time where the system was harder, and some of those criminals were never seen again to give a chance to reoffend. I know some people may not like what I say, and they you know, might want to have a softer system, but that softer system is why we are in our point we are today. But pretty much, guys, it's the world we live in. It's the world we have changed ourselves, or allowed to be changed. You know, sometimes we need to dig our heels in and say, whoa, enough is enough. Go back to the way things were, and it is what it is. But pretty much, guys, that's how she rolls for the evening, and that's going to be it for the day. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.